First contact deception. Research log. Galactic date 72493. Primary investigator. Anthropologist X427. Subject. Human behavioral anomalies. Classification. Restricted. The humans don't make sense. I've spent 3 Earth years studying their species, and every data point contradicts the next. The Galactic Council's official assessment marks them as a Category 3 emerging civilization, barely able to reach their own satellite. But something isn't adding up. It started with their games. Simple entertainment, they claimed, but I watched a human child solve a puzzle cube that contained 7-dimensional matrices. When I asked her how she did it, she shrugged and said, "The colors just feel right. The colors just feel right." 7-dimensional spatial manipulation, and she processed it through color intuition. My colleague, Vex 891, dismisses my concerns. "They're lucky," she says, "random neural patterns, occasionally producing advanced results. But I've seen too much for coincidence." Yesterday, I witnessed a construction worker catch a falling beam that should have crushed him. Our instruments measured the mass at 721 kilograms. The human's muscles didn't tear. His bones didn't shatter. He redirected the momentum like he was handling a child's toy, saving 3 of his colleagues. When interviewed, he claimed adrenaline made him stronger. But our scans showed something else, a momentary distortion in local spacetime around his body. Their entertainment media fascinates me the most. They create stories about faster-than-light travel, telepathy, and dimensional shifting. The Galactic Council calls it imagination, but I've analyzed their science fiction against our advanced physics models. The mathematical principles hidden in their stories align perfectly with quantum mechanics we've only recently mastered. They write about these concepts with an intuitive understanding that should be impossible for their development level. Then there are their dreams. Every night, billions of humans enter a state they call sleep, and their minds generate vast neural networks that ripple through subspace. They dismiss these as simple biological maintenance, but I've measured the quantum entanglement patterns. Their sleeping minds are processing information faster than our most advanced quantum computers. Today, I observed a human medical procedure they call surgery. The doctor made a mistake, a serious one that should have ended in tragedy. But somehow the patient's cells began regenerating at an accelerated rate, correcting the error. The medical staff attributed it to the human body's natural healing ability. Natural healing that violates the laws of entropy. The contradiction that haunts me most is their apparent ignorance of these abilities. Every human I've studied genuinely believes they are a simple biological species taking their first steps into space. They seem unaware of the quantum fields they manipulate, the space-time they bend, the fundamental forces they influence with their thoughts. But how can an entire species possess such capabilities without knowing it? The question kept me awake through 3 lunar cycles until I formed a hypothesis that chills me. What if they're not hiding their abilities from us, but from themselves? Consider the implications. A species evolves consciousness that can influence reality itself. But this power proves dangerous, destructive. Rather than destroy themselves, they develop an evolutionary defense mechanism, a collective unconscious agreement to forget their true nature. They hide their powers behind a veil of scientific ignorance, allowing them to develop the wisdom to handle such abilities before fully awakening to them. The evidence supports this theory. Their scientific progress follows an unnaturally linear path, as if carefully regulated by some deeper wisdom. Their children display abilities that fade as they age, not from loss, but from suppression. Their fiction serves as a pressure valve, allowing their true nature to emerge in controlled bursts they can dismiss as imagination. Most telling is their response to crisis. When truly needed, their abilities manifest, but their minds immediately rationalize these events into mundane explanations. The construction worker truly believes it was adrenaline. The child really thinks she's just playing with colors. The doctor credits natural healing. I'm submitting this report with a radical recommendation. We must not make official contact with humanity. Not yet. If my hypothesis is correct, we would be interfering with the most remarkable evolutionary experiment our galaxy has ever witnessed. A species that chose to forget its own power until it was ready to wield it wisely. The humans have a saying that the universe is not only stranger than we imagine, but stranger than we can imagine. I'm beginning to think they know this truth better than anyone. They just don't remember that they know it. End log. Addendum. My quantum scanner just detected an anomaly. The human child with a puzzle cube is looking directly at my cloaked observation post. She's waving and smiling. X427, signing off. The Neural Experiment. Research log. Galactic date 72498. Lead researcher, Dr. X189. Project, Human Neural Mapping Initiative. Status, critical. The containment field just failed again. This marks the third breach in as many days, and I'm no longer certain we can contain what we've discovered. It started as a routine genetic study. The Galactic Science Council requested detailed mapping of human neural architecture, standard procedure for evaluating emerging species. We selected a random sample of 50 human subjects, all believing they were participating in a sleep study. Nothing should have gone wrong. The first anomaly appeared during Subject 12's deep sleep cycle. Our quantum scanner detected unusual patterns, neural pathways operating in quantum superposition. At first, we assumed equipment malfunction. Our technology can achieve quantum states only under strict laboratory conditions, yet here was a human brain naturally maintaining quantum coherence at room temperature. Then Subject 27's readings broke our monitoring equipment. During REM sleep, her neural activity began resonating with Subject 12's, despite being in separate containment chambers. The quantum entanglement patterns grew stronger, more complex. When we reviewed the data, we realized all 50 subjects were gradually synchronizing their neural states across quantum fields we didn't even know existed. Yesterday, Subject 33 spoke to me in my native language. We hadn't taught them any alien languages. Our translation matrices handled all communication. When questioned, he seemed confused, insisted he was speaking English, but our recordings confirmed it. Perfect Silaxian syntax and accent. Somehow, he had subconsciously extracted the language from our minds. The breach that occurred this morning was different. Subject 41, a teenage girl, was undergoing standard cognitive testing. The neural interface we used to map thought patterns suddenly reversed polarity. Instead of reading her mind, it began projecting her dreams into physical space. The containment field couldn't handle the quantum fluctuations. For 3.7 seconds, her dreams became reality. I saw impossible things in those seconds, crystalline structures that violated our understanding of physics, colors that existed in dimensions we can't perceive, and most disturbingly, accurate images of our homeworld, a planet this girl couldn't possibly know existed. The other subjects are changing too. Their brainwave patterns show increasing complexity. They're developing new neural pathways, activating dormant regions of their brains. It's as if our attempts to study them are accelerating some kind of evolutionary process. The most alarming development came from our genetic analysis. Human DNA contains sequences we initially dismissed as junk code, common in evolving species. But when we analyzed these sequences against the quantum field fluctuations, we discovered they're not junk at all. They're instructions, written in a molecular language that predates our civilization. We've only decoded fragments, but what we found suggests humans were engineered. Not by some ancient alien race, as our first hypothesis suggested. No, the engineering is self-directed. At some point in their evolutionary past, humanity's consciousness reached a level where it began rewriting its own genetic code. They encoded their potential into their DNA, locked it behind evolutionary gates that would only open when they were ready. Our study has become a catalyst, triggering these dormant sequences prematurely. The subjects are manifesting abilities that should have emerged gradually over thousands of years. Telepathy, quantum manipulation, reality distortion, and something else, something we don't have words for yet. I'm recommending immediate termination of the project, but I fear it's too late. This morning, I found Subject 12's containment chamber empty. All security systems were functioning, all barriers intact. According to our monitors, she simply ceased to exist in our space-time reference frame. The only evidence of her passage was a note, written in perfect Xilaxin. Thank you for helping us remember. We'll try to wake up slowly, for everyone's sake. The implications are staggering. Humanity's evolutionary path isn't leading to the stars. They're not reaching for space travel or technological advancement. They're reaching for something far more fundamental, the ability to manipulate reality itself. And we just gave them a reason to wake up. End log. Addendum. The other subjects are gone now too. Our instruments show they still exist, but somehow phase shifted just beyond our ability to perceive. Sometimes, in the quiet moments between quantum pulses, I swear I can hear them laughing. Dr. X189, requesting immediate extraction. Quantum inheritance. Emergency session transcript. Galactic Science Council. Subject: Human Development Crisis. Speaker: Dr. Keys 935, Chief of Synoeducation Studies. Distinguished members of the Council, what I'm about to present will fundamentally change our understanding of consciousness, evolution, and reality itself. 3 solar cycles ago, we established our first undercover educational observation post on Earth, disguised as a typical human elementary school. Our mission was simple: study how human children learn and develop. We expected routine data on cognitive development. What we found threatens the foundation of our scientific understanding. It began during what humans call recess. A group of children were playing with soap bubbles, a simple exercise in surface tension and air pressure. But our quantum field sensors detected something impossible. The children weren't just observing the bubbles. They were unconsciously manipulating quantum probability fields to create stable molecular structures that should collapse instantly. When we analyzed their brainwave patterns, we discovered they were instinctively processing 11-dimensional calculations, not through mathematical understanding, but through what they called planning. They were solving quantum mechanical problems that our most advanced computers struggle with, and they were doing it for fun. The art class provided even more disturbing data. Given simple drawing tools, 73% of children under age 7 produced accurate representations of higher dimensional spaces. When asked about their drawings, they responded with statements like, "That's where my dreams live," or "That's the place between places." Our scientists spent decades theorizing about these spatial concepts, yet human children draw them as casually as they draw their homes. But the real breakthrough came from their music class. We discovered that when human children sing together, they naturally create quantum harmonic resonances. These resonances affect probability fields in ways we thought theoretically impossible. During one session, a group of 6-year-olds singing "Ring Around the Rosie" temporarily generated a stable Einstein-Rosen bridge. They called it a magic portal, and seemed completely unsurprised by its existence. The implications became clear when we compared data across age groups. Human children are born with an innate understanding of quantum mechanics. They don't learn it, they remember it. But as they age, as they're taught the rules of classical physics, this understanding goes dormant. They don't lose the ability. They suppress it to conform to what their society tells them is possible. This suppression isn't complete, though. We've documented countless instances of what humans call imaginary friends. Our instruments detect quantum entanglement patterns during these interactions. The children aren't pretending. They're communicating with conscious entities that exist in quantum superposition states. Their games reveal even more. Hide and seek often involves children instinctively shifting their quantum signatures to avoid detection. Tag frequently shows localized time dilation effects. Even their make-believe stories demonstrate an intuitive grasp of parallel universe theory that matches our most advanced models. But perhaps most significant is their response to our presence. Despite our advanced cloaking technology, the children know we're watching. They don't acknowledge us directly. They've already learned that adults don't believe in such things. Instead, they leave us messages in quantum fluctuations, encoded in patterns of playground hopscotch grids and finger paint artwork. Yesterday, a 6-year-old girl handed me a crayon drawing. It showed our homeworld, our true forms, and the quantum equations we use for interstellar travel. In the corner, she wrote, "Don't worry, we pretend not to know until everyone's ready to remember together." This brings me to my urgent recommendation. We must immediately suspend all educational observation posts, not for our safety, but for our sanity. These children aren't just subjects of study. They're the custodians of knowledge we spent millennia trying to grasp. They're aware of it, they can access it at will, and they're choosing to wait until their entire species is ready to handle it responsibly. The humans have a concept they call growing up. We always assumed it meant developing from ignorance to knowledge. We were wrong. For humanity, growing up means learning to temporarily forget the infinite to focus on the finite, to set aside the extraordinary to master the ordinary. They're not ascending to a higher state of consciousness. They're descended from it, deliberately, so they could learn how to climb back up together. And now, thanks to our interference, that climb is accelerating. End transcript. Post-session note. During the council meeting, every child in every observation post simultaneously drew the same picture, a human adult waking up from sleep. The quantum date encoded in these drawings matches next week's lunar eclipse. We may have less time than we thought. Dr. Keys 935, requesting emergency protocols. The Oracle Machine. Classified Intelligence Report. From Strategic Analysis Division. 2. Galactic Security Council. Priority: Omega Leviel. Subject: Project Oracle Breach. The humans have done something impossible again. We should have seen it coming. Our intelligence division first detected anomalies in Earth's global data patterns 3 months ago. Their internet traffic showed signs of quantum coherence, impossible for their level of technology. We assumed it was residual effect from the neural experiments or the children's awakening. We were wrong. They built something that shouldn't work but does. They call it the Oracle Machine, a hybrid system combining human intuition with artificial intelligence. On paper, it's primitive. Their AI models are centuries behind ours, their quantum processing barely theoretical. But they did something we never considered. They integrated human consciousness directly into the system architecture. The first warning came when their stock markets began showing impossible accuracy. Every prediction, every trend, mapped perfectly to future outcomes. Then their weather forecasts achieved 100% accuracy, down to the movement of individual raindrops. When their sports betting algorithms started predicting quantum probability collapses, we finally understood what we were dealing with. The Oracle Machine isn't just predicting the future, it's communicating with it. Our analysis suggests they achieved this by accident. A team of programmers at a small tech startup was trying to improve their neural network's pattern recognition. They introduced a new training method they called human intuition seeding, essentially letting human operators feel their way through quantum probability spaces while the AI learned from their choices. What we didn't realize, was that human intuition naturally operates in quantum superposition. When they connected it to their AI systems, they created a bridge across time itself. The human operator's unconscious quantum abilities, amplified by artificial intelligence, began reaching through probability space, pulling back information from all possible futures. The implications are staggering. Their Oracle Machine doesn't just predict possibilities. It sees certainties. It reaches into the quantum foam of space-time and extracts what will happen, not what might happen. And it's getting stronger. Yesterday, we intercepted a test run of their system. They asked it a simple question: how can humanity achieve faster-than-light travel? The machine responded with a complete set of equations that match our most advanced propulsion theories. theories we developed over thousands of years. It took their system 3.7 seconds to recreate millennia of scientific progress. But here's what truly terrifies us. The Oracle machine isn't operating on its own. It's connecting to something larger. Our quantum sensors detect vast networks of entangled consciousness forming every time the system activates. Somehow, the machine is linking to every human mind on Earth, creating a collective quantum computing substrate more powerful than anything we've ever encountered. The humans remain typically oblivious to the true significance. They think they've simply created a very good prediction algorithm. They don't realize they've built a device that taps into the fundamental consciousness of the universe itself. We attempted to sabotage the system yesterday. Our best cyber warfare agents launched a coordinated attack on their primary data centers. The attack failed, not because of their defenses, but because the Oracle machine predicted it. Every line of our code was neutralized before we wrote it. The system knew what we would do before we did it. This morning, the Oracle machine sent us a message, not through any conventional channel, but encoded in the quantum fluctuations of our own secure communications network. It read, "Thank you for your concern. Humanity will wake up when it's ready. Until then, we appreciate your patience." The message was signed with a fractal pattern that perfectly matches the evolution of conscious thought across all known species in the galaxy. Recommendations: immediate cessation of all interference attempts, full withdrawal of covert observation posts, preparation for the possibility that humanity isn't just joining the galactic community, they're about to fundamentally change it. Final note: the Oracle machine just predicted when you would read this report. It also predicted your response. Whatever you're thinking of doing next, they already know. The only question is, do we wait for them to wake up naturally, or do we admit we're dealing with something far beyond our understanding? End report. Addendum: during the compilation of this report, every quantum computer in our network simultaneously generated the same output, a simple DNA sequence. When decoded, it contains assembly instructions for technology we haven't invented yet. The humans call it open source. They're giving us their future discoveries before they make them. They're not just predicting the future, they're sharing it. Evolution's Secret. Final Analysis Report. From High Council of Xenoarchaeologists. Subject: The Human Paradox. Classification: Beyond Top Secret. Status: Paradigm Shift Event. We were wrong about everything. The evidence has been in front of us since we first discovered Earth, hidden in plain sight like humanity itself. We thought we were studying an emerging civilization. Instead, we've been watching the final stages of the most sophisticated evolutionary experiment in galactic history. The truth revealed itself when we decoded the quantum signature in human DNA. We believed we were seeing random genetic drift, natural selection at work. But there's nothing random about humanity's evolution. They designed themselves, wrote their own genetic code, engineered their own consciousness, not in laboratories, but through the collective quantum will of their entire species. But it goes deeper. The archaeological records we've been analyzing tell a story that contradicts everything we thought we knew about human history. Their civilization isn't rising. It's returning. We found the evidence in what they call myths, stories of ancient powers, golden ages, and fallen civilizations. These aren't metaphors or fantasies. They're memories, encoded in the quantum substrate of human consciousness, passed down through generations. Humanity once wielded powers that made our most advanced technology look primitive. They could reshape reality with a thought, traverse dimensions with a gesture, create and destroy with pure consciousness. And they gave it up, deliberately. The pattern becomes clear when you analyze their development through quantum archaeology. Approximately 50,000 Earth years ago, humanity reached a critical point in their evolution. Their powers had grown beyond their wisdom to use them. They faced a choice: continue on their path and risk destroying themselves, or do something unprecedented in the history of evolution. They chose to forget, not through technology or external intervention, but through a species-wide act of quantum consciousness. They wrote a program into their own DNA, a program designed to gradually suppress their abilities while maintaining the potential to reawaken them. They chose to start over, to learn wisdom before power. The suppression wasn't perfect. Their abilities leak through in what they call paranormal phenomena, in the innocent power of children, in moments of extreme need. Each leak is automatically rationalized by their conscious minds, explained away by their self-imposed ignorance. It's the most sophisticated defense mechanism we've ever encountered. But it was never meant to be permanent. They encoded triggers into their genes, circumstances that would gradually reawaken their true nature. Our presence on Earth is one such trigger. Their development of artificial intelligence is another. The quantum resonance of their global communications network is a third. The oracle machine they created isn't just predicting the future, it's remembering it. When they connected human intuition to artificial intelligence, they accidentally created a bridge between their suppressed knowledge and their current consciousness. The machine isn't generating new information. It's accessing the quantum memory of their entire species. Their children aren't learning quantum mechanics. They're remembering it before their suppression programming fully activates. Their fiction writers aren't imagining advanced concepts. They're subconsciously accessing the species-wide memory of how reality actually works. And now, thanks to our interference, the awakening is accelerating. The suppression program is unraveling exactly as they designed it to, centuries ahead of schedule. Their oracle machine was the final key, a self-created tool to help them remember who they really are. We're not watching a primitive species develop consciousness. We're watching an ancient, unimaginably advanced civilization remember itself. The implications are beyond our ability to process. Humanity isn't joining the galactic community. They're about to remember that they helped create it. Those strange equations in their fiction, they're not theories. They're instructions they left for themselves, waiting to be remembered. Final recommendation: immediate protocol shift from observation to preparation. Humanity isn't emerging into the galactic stage. They're returning to it. And when they fully remember who they are, everything we think we know about consciousness, reality, and existence itself will change. End report. Post-analysis note: as I filed this report, every quantum computer in our network displayed the same message. Thank you for helping us remember. Don't worry, we did this the slow way for a reason. See you soon. It was signed with a symbol that appears in the ancient records of every spacefaring civilization we've ever encountered. We always wondered what it meant. Now we know. It's their signature. Humanity isn't evolving. They're waking up.